Ask the people who pulled their living from the sea.
Certainly most people that I've encountered are really fascinated by this idea that you're going to be able to take something out of their arm which looks identical to the same stuff that you take out of the arm of the person sitting next to them and figure out something about your past.
They are very interested in knowing exactly where they come from. It's very intriguing when you tell them, hey, I can trace back your lineage. They light up.
How does the blood Spencer and Pierre collect today help them uncover the Phoenicians of more than 2,000 years ago? Within our blood is DNA, a molecular blueprint passed on to our children. Each person's blueprint is made of the same 4 building blocks, labeled A, C, G, and T. Repeated in a string some 3 billion letters long. It's the sequence of the letters that determines who you are.
What we as geneticists, and in particular as population geneticists, study is genetic variation, changes in that sequence. These glitches that have occurred in the past that distinguish between individuals.
These variations, or markers, are so rare that when they do occur, they define a unique family line. If you share a marker with another person, you share an ancestor.
That gives us a clue about how far back this ancestry really goes. When do we last share a common ancestor? How far back do the family trees go before we get to that common individual who unites everyone in the tree?
Scientists can use the markers to determine when one group began mixing with another.
Merci.
If they can find markers that connect to the Phoenicians, they will be able to trace Phoenician history through the blood of their descendants. They will be able to trace Phoenician history through the blood of their descendants. After analyzing countless blood samples, Spencer Wells and Pierre Zalua have identified a set of genetic markers, the genes that define a Phoenician as a Phoenician.
For the first time, we've actually been able to identify a set of what we're calling Phoenician genetic lineages. And these will allow us to trace the spread of this ancient seafaring population around the Mediterranean and perhaps even beyond.
Following these lineages, they make a curious discovery about Carthage. In the greatest of Phoenician colonies, they find genetic evidence that less than 20% of today's population carries the Phoenician marker.
What does that mean? It could mean that a very small group of Phoenicians, an elite, ruled a very large population in Carthage, and therefore they simply didn't have a huge genetic impact there.
Perhaps the most powerful revelation comes for the people of Lebanon. The study reveals that today's Lebanese, the Phoenicians, and the Canaanites are one and the same people. The study reveals that today's Lebanese, the Phoenicians, and the Canaanites are one and the same people.
The Phoenicians were here long before the time of Christ and Muhammad. And what the genetic results are telling us definitively is that today's Lebanese people, whether they're Christians or Muslims, are all tied together in this single gene pool. They're all part of one big family. So the genetic results are pulling people together, not ripping them apart.